You know, our planet is in this crazy race against time for clean energy. But let's be honest, our best solutions, they have a critical weakness. So what if the ultimate answer isn't on Earth at all, but miles and miles above our heads? Today, we are diving into one of the most ambitious ideas ever, solar power from space.
Just think about that for a second. Our most powerful source of clean energy, the sun, is only really available to us part of the time. And that one simple fact, well, it creates a huge bottleneck for our entire global energy strategy. But what if we could just break that bottleneck for good?
I mean, what if we could tap into a source of power that's never at the mercy of clouds or bad weather or the simple cycle of day and night? And look, this isn't just some sci-fi fantasy. This very question is driving a technological revolution that's happening right now.
Okay, let's get right into it. We all love solar and wind power, right? We see them as the future. And they are, but they share a fundamental flaw, a real Achilles heel that's holding us back from reaching a truly carbon-neutral world.
See, the real problem isn't making clean power. It's making it all the time. It's consistency. This on-again, off-again nature forces us to keep old fossil fuel plants on standby or to invest in these incredibly expensive, huge battery farms just to keep the lights on overnight.
But what if I told you there's a place where the sun is always shining, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? That reality has given birth to a truly game-changing solution: space-based solar power, or SBSP for short.
And honestly, the core concept is surprisingly simple. You just put giant solar panels in orbit where they get uninterrupted sunlight, and then you wirelessly beam that power down to us here on Earth. That means no night, no clouds, just a constant, clean stream of power.
So how does this actually work? Well, you can break it down into 4 basic steps. First, these massive satellites in orbit are just soaking up sunlight around the clock. Second, on the satellite, that solar energy gets converted into high-frequency radio waves, basically microwaves. Third, a really focused beam transmits that energy safely right through the atmosphere down to a specific receiver on the ground. And finally, that receiving station, it's called a rectenna, converts it all back into usable electricity that goes right into the grid for our homes and businesses.
Okay, so let's talk about how this is playing out in the real world, because this isn't just some cool science project anymore. No way. This is a full-blown international race with billions and billions of dollars on the line. And the scale of this new industry is it's staggering. Analysts are projecting the market for SBSP is going to soar to over $4 billion by 2040. This thing is moving from the pages of science fiction to economic reality at an incredible speed.
And to put that into perspective, we're talking about growth from about $630 million in 2025 to over $4 billion in just 15 years. That's nearly a 7-fold increase. That shows you just how seriously governments and private industry are taking this.
And get this, it's not just one country's dream. It's a global competition. In North America, you've got the USA with NASA and the Department of Defense, and they're really focused on energy security. Meanwhile, Europe is pushing hard on the critical transmission tech. And then in the Asia-Pacific region, nations like China and Japan are leveraging what they're best at, large-scale manufacturing and precision engineering, to try and get an edge.
So, you might be asking, why the sudden explosion of interest? Why is this all happening right now? Well, it really comes down to 3 key drivers that have all lined up perfectly to make SBSP a serious contender for our energy future.
First and foremost, it's that promise of truly stable 24/7 clean power. This is the holy grail of renewable energy, what the experts call baseload power. It's that constant, reliable energy that grids absolutely need to function. Something that solar and wind on Earth just can't provide on their own.
Second reason, governments are pouring money into this. We're talking major global powers funding research and actual test missions. This government backing lowers the immense financial risk for private companies, and it helps build the infrastructure and the know-how needed to get these massive projects off the ground.
And the third driver is a big one: national security. A power source that doesn't rely on vulnerable power lines on the ground or on tricky geopolitical fuel supplies is a huge strategic advantage. I mean, just imagine being able to power a military base or a disaster-stricken city from space instantly. That's a really powerful incentive for defense departments all over the world. So yeah, SBS truly is energy's next great frontier. But like any frontier, it comes with both incredible promise and enormous peril. And let's be realistic here. The challenges are monumental. The cost of just launching all that material into orbit is still incredibly high.
We'd have to build and assemble structures in space that are bigger than anything humanity has ever built before. And beyond all that, we have to perfect the technology to beam all that energy back to Earth safely and efficiently.
This quote from Tabby Labo really it gets to the heart of the matter. This whole thing isn't just about kilowatts and clean energy. It's about geopolitics. The race for space-based solar is creating a completely new arena for international competition.
Which leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? The technology to power our world cleanly and constantly is pretty much within our grasp. So are we going to use it to unite humanity under a shared goal, or will the final frontier just become the next great battleground? The race is on, and the stakes could not be higher.